Hello, and happy Saturday to everyone. I hope your Saturday is going well, and I hope your weekend is gotten kicked off to a great start so far. I want to welcome you to the show. My name is Don Terrell, and this is another great episode of The Color of Motion, where I like to say stories come in all shades. And I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds in the industry of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. This space that I love so much. Again, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for tuning in. You know the drill. Tell me hello, say hey, let me know where you're tuning in from. Mr. Gabriel. Gabe, what's going on, my brother? Appreciate you. Gabe was really integral in, my up level of the show for sure. So definitely excited to have you tuned in, Gabe. And we got to jump on a call to connect for sure. So appreciate you tuning in there. Like I said, we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. If you are one of those ones that loves to check out the show from Facebook, make sure that you get connected into our Facebook group community. We definitely want you to be a part of it. Facebook.com/group/the color of motion. Get engaged. We have great conversation, a lot of industry news, and the group it's starting to grow. So I definitely want you to be a part of our community for sure. You can also connect with me on all my other social channels here. Definitely want to hear from you. Definitely want to know your thoughts. And like I said, definitely want you to be a part of the community. So get connected with me, get engaged with me for sure. Like I said, we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. A lot of people do tend to kind of watch from LinkedIn and Facebook, but I always encourage people to jump on over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, give a thumbs up, comment on the videos because it helps. Hit the bell notification so that you are notified of when great new episodes and content gets uploaded into the channel. So definitely looking to make it an engaging place for you for sure. Got a lot of great things planned for the show coming up. There again, there's the Facebook group, so definitely want you to be a part of it. Not just the Facebook group, but the website, the new website for the show will be up. We're working to get that up by the end of the year. Bring in swag items to do some great giveaways, contests. Also, give our guests, swag bags to show them our appreciation for being on the show for sure. So, that hope you've been catching some of the Instagram shorts and reels that I've been doing before, kind of pre-show stuff. Doing a little setup. I'll probably do one after the show this time. Didn't get a chance to do one before. So that, along with just so many other big things, we got planned for the show. Always, as always, we definitely will love your support to help us continue to level up the show. So, if you are inclined, you could throw a little something in the tip jar there. We appreciate it so much. You can do that at Don Terrell 65 Cash App because it does help me to continue to level up the show and make it the best possible show that I can make it for sure. So any support is always appreciated, and if you do, like I said, we always give a shout out. to the ones that show their appreciation. We definitely want to show you some love, give you a shout out on the show, and just an all around big thank you for supporting us. So your name could be scrolling right there. So it, could be a good thing for you. So I appreciate that so much and excited about that. What else is happening? I've been super excited about this episode. So looking forward to it for sure. And what's been going on with the show. Oh, big thing coming up. We are fast approaching on the 1 year anniversary for the show. So that's coming up on November 7th, which is a Sunday this year. So we'll be having a very special 1 year anniversary episode. So I definitely want you to be a part of that. Come check it out. Have some fun with us because it's going to be a party and we're going to have some fun. I can't believe it's been 1 year, coming up on 1 year already. The year has gone by just quick, but had so many amazing guests on the show, and so looking forward to 2022 and all the future guests that are coming on. So make sure that you join us for that for sure, and you'll be seeing some ads and promotions for it starting this week. So definitely want you to be a part of the show. Again, this has been so much fun putting this together so far, and like I said, just so looking forward to making the wow factor for you and just making it such an engaging and fun episode and show for you. So I hope you've been enjoying it. Like I said, make sure you engage with the show. Throw in some comments, questions, anything that you might have, because I definitely, like I said, want you to be a part of the show. So, without further ado, like I said, I've been so looking forward to this episode. Sit down and talk with my friend, my brother from another mother across the pond over in the UK. It's gonna be fun. So with that, let's get it started. He is a character designer living in London. Like I said, brother from another mother across the pond there, where he was born. His journey to be a character designer started in 2012 when he was on holiday in Ghana, his country of origin, and he had an idea for a children's book. He knew his drawing skills were rusty as he hadn't drawn for about 8 years. So he searched for short courses back in London and found one called Character Design for Animation, taught by Vincent Woodcock, a former Disney animator. He loved the course so much that he decided that that was what he wanted to do with his life. In 2014, he got into an animation master's program, knowing he wanted to be a character designer, but wanting to understand the principles of animation, and has been working hard to make it happen ever since. He's had some experience in both animation and illustration over the last 5 years or so, but it was in May 2021 that he was finally able to take his passion to be a full-time artist. Please, everybody, help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mr. Selom Sunu. Wow.
Hi, everyone.
So I am super excited, man, to have you on. Like I said, we connected a while ago and just instantly had a connection. And like I said, just I love your drawing style, your character design style, and just was so fortunate that we were able to connect.
Thanks, man. No, no, thanks. And that was a great bio. I forgot I sent you some of that stuff. I was like, what am I going to say now? You pretty much told everyone everything now. So, no, there are some gaps I can fill in for sure.
Well,
But yeah,
that's what the interview is for, to fill in the gaps for sure. Because,
yeah,
like I
yeah,
said, I know a lot's been going on with you, and just super super excited. Like I said, to sit down and talk with you there about just your work, what you're doing, and then in the industry, and what your plans moving forward are. Let's get it started. I'm curious,
yeah.
what was the children's book that inspired you? Do
Oh,
you
cool,
remember
cool.
that? What was the children's book that
Yeah, yeah.
inspired you?
Sure. So yeah, as I said, it was while I was volunteering in Ghana. I was volunteering with an organization that their leader is based here as well in the UK. And he's about my age, so I was kind of inspired by what he was doing, and I thought, kind of, what could I do for the children of Ghana? Because I actually lived there for a few years as well,
Okay.
and I didn't remember really seeing a book, yeah, with Ghanaians in it. So I had an idea for a book about a boy who travels outside Ghana, and it's kind of a funny, silly story. Who travels outside Ghana, and he's like blown away by some of the things he sees, and he's kind of asking for the local food and stuff like that. And it's like it's just not, they don't understand. So yeah, that was my idea really.
Awesome, awesome.
Um,
And I'm curious
yeah,
because I've had a chance. I mean, even though you know you weren't born there, but you spent a little time there.
yeah,
Are you surprised? Because I have connected with a lot of African, whether it be from Lagos, Nigeria, and just
yeah.
some of the other places. Are you surprised, not surprised, or not surprised of all the great content creators there and all the stories that are starting to come out there?
Good question. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, yeah, I mean the history and uh, the environment is kind of like there are stories there already, without having to do much. And yeah, I mean, there's creativity in anyone, but yeah, I feel like the environment brings out um, creativity. There's a saying that necessity is the mother of invention,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
in some places there's a lot of necessity. So I'm not surprised at all, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
got
I
rich
said,
rich stories, rich culture,
yeah,
lots of
so
color
many.
around. Yeah, so
So many. Like I said, I've had the pleasure and just honor of connecting with so many, creators over there, creators in the islands, Jamaica, and some of the islands. So,
mm,
and like you said, it's such a fertile ground for
yeah,
stories. You just can't help.
absolutely. Every time I go on holiday, I feel like I could, there's stuff I could write about. I should start writing journals when I go to Ghana and other places. Yeah,
So
so
were
much
you
there.
like that as a child growing up? I mean, were you into art, or was it something that you kind of picked up a little bit later in life, or were you just always artistically inclined as a child?
Yeah, good question. So I think, I- so I don't think I can remember as far back as some people, but I remember when I was about 6, I was really into drawing dinosaurs. That was just dinosaurs generally. Dinosaurs was my thing. So I know my parents used to encourage me to draw. They told me actually that I wasn't really good at all. But I would show them my drawings and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's nice," but they were thinking, "Terrible, terrible."
I think I
So
think
I'm
that's the
I'm I'm
beauty
really
of
happy
it.
that they encouraged me.
I
Yeah,
think that's the beauty of being a child. You
yeah,
don't know any different. You just think everything
no,
that you do is just the bomb.
absolutely, absolutely. So I'm glad they encouraged me. So obviously I kept drawing. I remember there was a period, I think when I was about 7 or 8, where one of my teachers was like, "Wow, this stuff that you've been drawing is really good." Because I used to copy from books, illustrations from books, and
Yeah,
like I was super into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as
turtles.
well. So I'd
Okay.
like draw them, draw Yogi Bear, things like that. And the teacher was impressed that I could copy so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all it was at the time, just copying. And then I think probably I then got more into like music. A lot of people probably don't know this about me, but I was like a choir boy. So yeah, got more into singing and stuff, and then yeah, later on football. So yeah, my path has been all over, and then back to art. Yeah. So
Awesome, awesome. And we
yeah.
got a few people tuned in. Mr.
Okay.
Yoki gives a thumbs up for sure. I hope I pronounced that right. Mr. I almost hate to even try and pronounce this, but Ryuchi. I will please forgive me if I do dissect your name there. But his question is, how did he get started? So I guess he's young and wanting to know how he gets started.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Copying is the best way at first. Just kind of try and see if you can emulate what's already out there, and just kind of because what it was for me was kind of bridging the gap between what I wanted to create and what I was able to create.
Mm-hmm.
So copying was a big help in the beginning, especially. Um, Obviously, not to pose it as your own work, but just
Yeah,
to learn
yeah,
from it. Yeah,
yeah,
to learn from it. Also, yeah, just draw things you like. I would say very important, and obviously, if you like it, it's likely that you'll be more passionate about it, and that will come across. You will spend more time on it, things like that. Even if you make a mistake, you'll be more inclined to go again. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. No, I agree, and that's I think that's where most kids get started. They just draw what they see and try and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
draw it as close as they can. I did that when I started, superheroes, whatever. I was in the
yeah,
comic strips doing, drawing the same thing, and then you start to branch out, and as you start to, you know, find your own little path and flavor, you'll start to create your own characters and artwork and stuff like that. But I agree.
definitely.
With Salam, just keep drawing and keep doing it. Um,
Yeah. One more thing I can say, sorry,
yeah, go
if you
ahead.
don't mind. Yeah, yeah, just if there are any like courses, yeah, look out for courses like I did, and if there's anything on like fundamentals of drawing or something like that, that will help massively.
Yeah,
Just so that you don't feel like you're starting from well, yeah, just so that you don't feel like there's so big a gap,
yeah, yeah,
someone to help you bridge that gap. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the beauty of this time that we're in. You can find
Yeah.
just about anything you want to learn on the internet. So take that
Sure.
opportunity, and research. Find, like someone said, courses, just different things on the internet. There's,
Yeah.
it's right there at your fingertips.
Yeah.
I sorry, your name is just coming up. Facebook. I'm not on my Facebook page, so I don't have your name. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate everybody tuning in to the show. If you're just tuning in, sitting down, having a great conversation with illustrator and character designer Selom Sunu, and we're gonna in a little while take a look at his work there.
Sure.
But uh, what was it about that course, that first initial course
Yeah.
that grabbed you? And did you feel like
Mm.
you had a lot of catching up to do when you decided that, like you said, you hadn't drawn for 8 years? So did you
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
there was a big gap?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So what it was yeah, I guess I was naive to the the possibilities in terms of opportunities within animation. So yeah, just the fact that I saw that, it's silly really, because obviously I'm watching the shows and I'm watching the films. So I know that, I knew it was drawn. I knew that it had to come from somewhere.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it didn't connect in my mind that, oh, this is a job that, someone like me could do, someone, yeah.
yeah,
So I guess it was seeing that, because the teacher really went through some of his favorite character designers, and the kind of things they were doing, and got to see that. And he would do demonstrations, and I was like, man, this is all stuff I really want to do. So yeah, it was that really, and even though I wasn't good at all at the time, I was drawing along. He would like say, okay, let's try and draw a cat, and he'd give you like tips and say, think of shapes, do this, do that. And mine came out terribly, but I still enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I was like, no, I want to get better at this. And yeah, there's just something about it really that just captivated me, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to be a character designer in animation specifically.
Uh,
So I kind of sidelined my book idea, and went after that. And in terms of yeah, the gap, as I said, yeah, I knew that I was nowhere near, but because yeah, the passion just came. I was like, you know, I'm going to pursue this. And my wife and other people who know me well will tell you that when I pursue something, I pursue it hard. So yeah,
Well, that's a
yeah,
good thing. You know, like I said,
yeah,
go jump all in and don't,
yeah,
dip your toe into it. Just dive all in, and you'll discover quickly whether or not it's something that you really want to just continue doing and stay in
absolutely.
doing it. So, what do you feel like? Like I said, uh, taking that initial character design course, what
Yeah.
was that? I mean, was that for you just something that really kind of helped to get you started and get your, like I said, dust off the rust, and just get the dust
Yeah,
off? Or
yeah, it was just it was like a complete awakening, Don, honestly. It was the fact that some of the people on the course as well, they were talking about doing other courses and they were talking about the stuff that they had done. And I guess yes, because I was seeing their work as well. And some of them were much better than me, but others were I was like, oh, I can kind of get to your level. So that encouraged me a bit as well. I was like, okay, you've actually done, you know, a degree in this and I'm not too far from you, so maybe I can do this. And actually, because I ended up doing a master's at the same uni that I did that short course.
yeah.
And it was because some of my course mates were talking about applying for that. I didn't get on the first time, but yeah, got on eventually, and then yeah, from there. So,
I mean, obviously, you stepped up your level. When you went to the master's course. What
yeah,
do you
yeah,
think the biggest thing that you kind of learned or pulled away from that initial course,
yeah,
principle wise, that really helped serve you to move into the next level?
yeah. I guess it was just the amount of drawing that you needed to do, like just in order to practice. And yeah, some of the kind of principles he showed us in terms of he was talking a lot about proportions and what else was he talking about? Yeah, shapes. Um, yeah, it was just really that desire to learn that I took from that, and yeah, just to learn the basics really, and to see what I'd been missing all those years. So yeah, I guess what I took away from that was like I now knew where to look for stuff,
Yeah.
and be more inspired. So you know,
Awesome.
googling different character designers, for example, sparking my imagination.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Mr. Ryuchigen, how can I get my characters and stories out there? And we've said this before, and I've said it
Mm,
many, many a times. Now is a great time for content creators because you got
yeah.
your own channels to put your art out there. And that's how you're going to get better. That's how you're going to, get seen. So whether it's, if you got an Instagram channel, post your work on
Absolutely.
there. Facebook, on all your social channels, you should be putting your work out and continuing to keep your work out. There's no excuse now, because we all have access to the internet. Get your work out. You'll get
Yeah.
better. You'll get seen, for sure. So, I mean, what's the industry been like? Over on that side of the pond. I mean, I know of some studios
Yeah.
in the UK, but character design wise, how did you find once you got out of the program, really started getting work and getting traction in the industry?
Yeah, no, good question. And it's a good point you made. In this country, actually, I would say character design is not that big at all.
Really?
In terms of yeah, in terms of opportunities. I think it's getting a bit better now, but on this side, it tends to be more of the actual animation. You know,
Mm,
yeah, the 2D animation is still very much alive in the UK.
yeah,
So I think
yeah,
that's what's used most. Even American studios, you know, sending their stuff over here and stuff to be animated.
yeah, yeah.
Um, So yeah, it was difficult for sure, and I definitely felt a bit lonely, I would say, like I, among my classmates because all of them wanted to be 2D animators, you know. So
Hmm.
it was just like for them, it seemed kind of easy for them to get jobs.
Yeah.
And I was okay at animation, but as I said, because I went into the course of emotive of character design, that was my focus.
Yeah.
And so because I didn't get too much of that on the actual course, I spent all my time kind of looking at that
Yeah.
and also catching up with the drawing side because I was so behind. So I came out, kind of average at animation, but I managed to get so I one of the mistakes I made was taking the first job I got, which was like some illustration work, and it was a lot of work, little pay. But anyway, that led me to then consider my options more, and I took on some other jobs just for money, not outside of art, and I ended up taking on an internship. My first big break, if you like, was an internship in 2017 at a studio called Nexus Studios. So that was a year after I finished my course, and it was people that were the year above me on the course who were able to bring me into that. So I was really grateful for that. And that wasn't character design actually; it was animation, and it wasn't even drawn animation. It was like rigging using After Effects. So
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I say you quickly uh, learn what you're, really passionate about because there's so
yeah,
many
yeah, yeah,
different avenues that you can go
yeah,
down in the industry. And like I say, you quickly, figure out. I mean, I can, and I like 3D and 2D, but
yeah,
being a rigger, just rigging characters. I don't think I could do that day in and day out, but
yeah,
I know
yeah,
how
yeah,
to,
yeah.
I know the principles of how to do it and can probably do it for some small things. But like I said, you really do figure out, well, I want to be a background artist or I want to be a character designer. I want to animate. I want to model. You quickly
Yeah.
figure out what it is you really love doing.
Definitely, definitely, yeah. And to answer your question about character design as well, I think it took me a while to be honest with you. As I said, I felt like a little bit lonely in this country, and I was seeing like all the American counterparts on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh man, you guys get full-time jobs in this thing," and I'm like struggling to. And while I was at that studio on the internship, they did have character designers,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
was a very specific type of character design, using Illustrator and vector art, which wasn't my style at the time, definitely not. But I was trying to get in there, but they were like, you're good at drawing, so
yeah,
yeah, try that
yeah.
route. Yeah,
Well,
so
again, the beauty now is, I mean, even though, and most probably don't feel like they have to move, like say to LA or something like that. Now,
mm,
with the way it is now, a lot of people do have the ability to work remotely. So maybe opening up the doors for you now to get connected with a lot more companies over here in the
absolutely, yeah.
states and stuff. But that's I think with the advent of so many, like the awakening of diversity and this and that, a lot more studios now are starting to kind of reach out to other areas of the country of the world, whether it be the
Mm,
islands, and like I said, uh, from just the people that I've connected with and the news that I've seen, there's a lot of burgeoning content coming
absolutely.
from African content,
Mm,
over in Canada. So it's really starting to open up, I feel.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, as I think I said to you earlier this year, yeah, just getting an email from Disney in LA, I was so shocked, because I just never really, yeah, I mean, yeah, I hoped, something like that would happen at some point, but I wasn't expecting it at the time. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it at the time,
Yeah,
definitely not.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it was
And
nice.
Teriuchi, that's how you get contacted by companies is putting your work out there because they're going to
Mm,
see it sooner or later. As you just
definitely.
post your work, they're gonna start to reach out to you just to connect with you and do work with you. So, like I said, you have such an interesting style. We're gonna jump over and take a look at a lot of the
Sure.
stuff that you've been doing lately. Such a fun style, and
Thanks.
just like I said, colorful as well. So, do you do mostly in Photoshop or that type, or in regular drawing? You say you don't do more vector stuff like Illustrator and that type, but
Not really, not really. It's funny because I've been experimenting with like yeah, more Illustrator type stuff, but not on Illustrator, still on Photoshop, but just getting more like sort of geometric and stuff, especially with the coloring, just playing around with that. I haven't put much of it out there yet. It's more on my own computer. But yeah, yeah, Photoshop mainly. I still like to start in pencil though where I can. I
yeah,
love pencil, paper,
yeah.
yeah, and pen. Yeah,
So,
so
how is your? I mean, where do you kind of tend to pull your inspiration from when you're sitting down to design a character?
various sources, various sources. So yeah, yeah, I hope people don't mind me saying this, but yeah, I'm a man of faith. Sometimes I
Yeah,
believe, honestly, my ideas come straight from God. Other times, yeah, I have to look for them. Pinterest. Um, uh, yeah, sometimes I just wake up with an idea, and
yeah,
then I go to Pinterest to look up a bit more. Um, yeah, sometimes it will be something I've done years ago, that I try and revive. So a variety of sources. I get inspired by people on Instagram as well. Like maybe they're drawing something cool, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I might say, oh, like this is my take on it, or yeah,
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 yeah. And kind of to that point, I mean, and you kind of lightly touched on it, but
yeah.
looking at other people's work, I mean, do you have those moments? And I guess every artist does. You sit there and just scratch your head at, damn, how did you do this? This work is just, it's just,
Absolutely,
it's just amazing.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it's dangerous. This is
Yeah,
for Ryuichi as well and other people who are asking these kind of questions. Yeah, especially on social media, man. It can be dangerous if you don't have your wits about you. Let's put it that way,
yeah, yeah,
because you can get inspired, but the other side of that is that you can become so down about your own work if you're not careful.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
kind of have to balance your intake, and you have to somehow stay in a healthy mindset that this work is great, and you got to put it in perspective. Like, for instance, there are some artists that I just really love, and I'm like, well, but they've been doing it 10
yeah,
years longer than me,
yeah, yeah,
and they've worked at studios. They've probably had, help from people around. They've learned from other people at studios. They've done this, they've done that. Or maybe they're just better than me,
yeah.
and I have to accept that, and that
Now,
I can only stay in my lane, and
I hope everybody caught that bomb that he said. It is a dangerous. Well, it like I said, it depends on your mindset because, like I said, if you let it discourage you, you can, but let it inspire you as to what. And then, like Salam said, keep in perspective that this person may have been doing it for 10, 20 years, working on their craft, or they're, like I said, there are
yeah.
some people that are just naturally kind of good. They're really
Mm-hmm.
kind of natural talent, but most people, like I said, have spent time, really perfecting their craft. So keep that in. If you are just starting out, keep that in mind that while you need to look at other people's work, just keeping in mind that let it inspire you, not discourage you, from or letting or getting yourself in a place where you're comparing what you do with what they do.
Definitely, definitely, yeah. Try and be objective and look at, like, yeah, think about what it is you like about it, and why, and obviously if you can replicate that those same things in your work, then try and do that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what type of characters do you, I mean, are those? I mean, you have a kind of unique style and kind of a toony style. Is that the kind of style that you really enjoy, or what? Do you kind of look at that inspires you? The type of styles that kind of inspire you?
It's funny you should say that. I'm actually someone who doesn't necessarily believe I've kind of found my style completely yet. Um, I do like toony stuff. I can't lie to you. I really like toony stuff. And I want to actually get even more toony because I do want to work in TV production. That's the
Yeah.
kind of stuff I really like. But I also love, yeah, sort of like the more not realistic, but uh, how can I put it? Sophisticated, but not in a
Like
bad way. Just
like
yeah,
anime or that type of thing. Do you like anime or do you like?
I do like the anime designs. Yeah, I do like the anime designs. But I'm just trying to think of an example. Oh, I can't think of one. Okay, okay. It's still kind of toony, but like there's a cartoon called um, Glitch Text.
Which text? That
It's on
sounds familiar.
Nickelodeon. It's on Nickelodeon. It's on
Okay.
Netflix as well. But it kind of sort of bridges the gap between like really cartoony and um, like maybe more anime sort of. Yeah, yeah,
That type.
yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, but to be honest, I consume a lot of different type of art. But I do get inspired by the cartoony stuff. Just
Yeah.
because what I like in artwork is when an artist makes the work look so simple, to be honest with you. That's what inspires me. And that's what I'm trying to get to in my own work. Um, so people look at it and they say, wow, it looks so simple. But when they try and draw it, they're like, it's not as simple as it looks. So
Yeah.
then
I've seen
those are the
all.
artists I like most. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of work like that. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, how you did that, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
the drawings themselves are such simple drawings, but they put
Yeah.
so much life and character into it that it's just okay, hard
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So, what's your process? I mean, do you uh, you know make it a habit to draw every day or get out in your surroundings? What other, I mean, kind of person, like you say you're married and, have a
Mm,
family.
yeah.
What else kind of feeds that creative spirit for you outside, of drawing that kind of helps
Yeah.
create that?
Good question. Yeah, I like the fact that you talked about both things, but especially about family as well. That's very important. But you talked about drawing every day. That's definitely something that I do, and I got into the habit of that to be honest. When I didn't get onto the course the first time, that's what the teacher told me to do, to draw every day from life, like draw people on the train, um, on go to the zoo, draw animals. So I hated it at the time. I thought it was the hardest thing on earth because obviously the people and animals are moving, and I'm like, how
Yeah,
am I supposed to
yeah.
draw this? Uh, but with practice, it became fun, and now it's something I love to do. Because of the pandemic, I haven't really gone out as much to do it as much, but I still draw every day something. In terms of other things that feed in, yeah, definitely, I love playing football or soccer to the Americans.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, that to me is when I feel most free. Like when I'm on a soccer pitch,
Yeah.
it's just like nothing. I'm not thinking. That's the only time I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just thinking about what I'm doing. So I'm completely present.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, family life. Watching my daughter grow up. She's 2.5. Just seeing some of the things she does, that definitely feeds into my work. Even though I don't necessarily draw her,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, just seeing the kind of things she does is really helpful, and influences my drawings as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
and to your daughter's point, how important is it for you to show
yeah,
your daughter characters that look like you and that kind of represent her that she can look at and say, "Oh wow," like you said, you don't, I don't know if that was the case with you, but like I said, when I
yeah,
was
yeah,
growing up, like I said, I didn't see characters or
yeah.
even creators that look like me. So how important is that for you to show that to your daughter and other young kids of color?
Yeah, very good question and very good point. Because yeah, when I grew up, I didn't see much of that, but I don't think I was conscious of it until quite recently. Um, and she makes me more conscious of it actually, because when she's watching, some of these cartoons on YouTube or Netflix or whatever, and she sees a black kid, she responds to it differently. And actually, she started asking for some of the cartoons with the black kids. So I'm like, okay. So yeah, I think it's very important. Yeah,
Yeah,
but previously I didn't realize the importance of it, but now, yeah, I see it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
important. Yeah.
Well, do you
So
feel, and to that point, do you feel like
yeah.
that's because over here, like I
Mm,
said, it's because of all the it's big now because of the social stuff that's been going on the
mm.
last few years. But do you feel like over in the UK that that's something that's changing and something that you're starting to see on television and in the theaters there? Um, just the diversity of the different stories and cultures.
Sure. I think TV shows and stuff like that, they're starting to wake up to it. I've seen it more so far in illustration.
Mm-hmm.
Book illustration. Yeah, I think. I mean, I've been hired to do quite a few books like in this year, and most of them, involve drawing black people
Yeah.
of some description. So I've been seeing that a lot more, and from my other fellow illustrators as well. We've got kind of people out here sort of campaigning for that as well,
Yeah.
and that's yeah, it's been successful. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well, as far as I mean, like you said, two character design may be kind of a small space over there, but as an industry, um, just animation, 2D,
yeah.
3D, that type of thing. Do you feel like there's a growing community of content creators, or have you connected with more of a community there of content creators of color over in the UK and the surrounding area where you're at?
Definitely, yeah, yeah. In the last couple of years, yeah, there's like a group. There are a couple of groups that have been set up, yeah, by fellow artists, and yeah, specifically, yeah, some specifically for Black people, um, Black artists, and then yeah, other people that I've been meeting through either through Instagram or LinkedIn.
Yeah,
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 so definitely, there's a lot going on. But yeah, generally, the UK in terms of animation is quite a big scene, especially actually in VFX. Actually, it's quite big
yeah,
in
yeah.
VFX.
Like I said,
Yeah, yeah,
I know of several companies in that kind of space.
yeah,
Um, that are UK based that are really big in the film industry, visual effects,
yeah,
and that type of thing over there. Um,
yeah.
is that I mean, you haven't been over here to the states yet, have you? Is that kind of
No, no.
a goal or something that you would like to experience? Just what it is over here, or what's your? And I'm always curious,
Yeah,
what's your perception and perspective of the
yeah,
industry from over there here?
yeah, 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 yeah. I would want to be there at the moment. Definitely, yeah, yeah. If someone paid me and said, "Look, full-time job, come to LA," I'll be there on the next plane, as long as my wife and,
Is
and and my
that
daughter are happy to come with me. Yeah, but we've kind of discussed it, to be honest with you,
really?
because
Yeah,
yeah, because it feels more possible now than
yeah,
it did,
yeah.
last year, for example. So yeah, so I'd be all over it. I yeah, I guess maybe Instagram is not the best source of facts, but honestly, from the things the artists I follow on Instagram and things I see, it does seem like there are more opportunities there
Yeah.
for yeah character design and yeah, just
And
it
I've also
seems like
seen a
there's
lot.
more.
The Canada scene is really growing
Mm,
too. Like I said, I know of a bunch of artists, character artists as well, just in Vancouver,
mm,
the Canada area, because they're still working. They're still working with a lot of the studios here, and most of the studios have a location there as well.
mm. Yeah, no, no. Yeah, Canada's, yeah. I know we'll definitely move to Canada. I know my wife is on board with that. She's on board with Canada. So, and I have to say, she's one of my biggest supporters as well. Yeah, couldn't
Yeah.
agree more with this as well. There, so big her
That
up as well.
definitely helps
Yeah.
for sure. Having somebody in your corner that kind of helps to inspire you and push you along. Um, how are your? I mean, like you said, your parents really encouraged you when you
Oh
were
yeah,
younger.
yeah,
How are they when you decided to make this shift? Right, and this is it. This is what
yeah,
I wanted to
yeah,
do. How are they?
yeah. They've also been very supportive throughout the whole thing. Yeah, just because when I actually made that realization, I was studying accounting, um, which my dad sort of, well, he didn't, no, he didn't force me at all. He suggested that I do it. Because to be,
Don't you
because
love
to
how
be
they
honest,
give you those little, you might want to think about, a little backup
yeah,
plan.
yeah, definitely. So I know he wasn't on board with football, that's for sure. Soccer. When I wanted to be a soccer player, he was like, "Nah, nah, it's too late. It's too late." I still feel like I could have made it, but hey, it's too late now, definitely. Uh, but yeah, no, with this, he was really supportive. He was like, you know what, yeah, because they knew, that it's something I could see the passion basically.
Yeah.
They could see how passionate I was about it, and they know that, from a young age I've kind of drawn. So yeah, they've been really supportive. I didn't get a loan for the masters, so yeah, they
Yeah.
helped with that as well as me
That
having to
helps.
work myself. So yeah, so they've been really supportive. And even now, days when I really need to get my head down,
Yeah.
sometimes if my daughter's not at the childminders, they'll take her, if they can. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah.
So, what I mean, like I said, what are some of the stories that you would love to tell moving forward, character wise and just animation wise? What would are some of the things that you want to tell and kind of inspire?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I'm kind of keen to, this might sound like a cliche, but kind of show Africans in a different light to what they've been shown so far.
Yeah.
So like, this is gonna sound funny, like just Africans being like normal, like just like any kid, So like, I'm like, I kind of had this idea of, roller skating Africans, and
Yeah.
I haven't made up my mind, but they're superhero roller skater Africans, and you know,
And you don't
um,
trust me. You're not different than all the other. And it was funny because I think it might have been Uzumo that said it when he's a great illustrator, but
mm,
I think he's living in Canada, but he's from Lagos or Nigeria. But he was saying the
yeah,
same thing. He said, "Yeah, I want to give want to put Africans like we're not hanging from the trees or anything
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
That type of thing. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
I think that's just and it goes beyond just being black. I think
mm,
Latinos, Asians, they say the same thing.
yeah,
We have this normal life. We do normal things. We laugh at
yeah,
normal things and all of those. So it's not like these stereotypical type of things that you see in most animations and productions.
sure. And even because the amount of people, since I've kind of been on this journey, the amount of my uncles, blood and otherwise, who have said to me, you should do these African folk tales. I get that a lot. You should. And I'm like, yeah, but I hear you, but I don't want to. I kind of have my own stuff that I push. And the folk tales are great, but I feel like in a lot of ways they've been covered.
Yeah,
So I don't feel like I would need to cover them again.
yeah,
Stuff like Anansi's stories and things like that. Um, so yeah, want to tell kind of contemporary stories. Maybe there could be a nod back to some of the folk tales, but I think
yeah. Well,
yeah.
were you big into like comic books and that type of thing, or were you more into television, cartoon, and animation and things?
Yeah, you know what? Television more, I tried to get into comic books, but I didn't really get into it. I think I found them difficult to read. I was like, which panel do I read first? So I just I would like looking at the pictures, but in terms, I was just like, it's a bit lost.
didn't know the flow of it, which
Yeah,
I
and I
didn't.
guess. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say I didn't know when I was younger that. Well, I guess you would do as you read it. You know, you see it, but you like you said,
Yeah,
your eye
yeah,
doesn't know. Well, do I go down? Do I, go
yeah,
over to
yeah, yeah.
this or that? But as you get older, but actually, I guess there is kind of a, talking to some comic book artists, there is kind of a flow to how the panels go and how you
Yeah,
read.
I'm sure there is. Yeah, I just gave up on it too early.
But see, I was
Yeah.
more like I said, when I grew up, I was more a comic strip, like newspaper comic
Mm,
strip. Although I love cartoons on television. My thing was I loved comic strips and just the drawing. And I wasn't
mm,
like a huge Disney fan, although I did
sure,
watch Disney. I was more Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers
sure, sure.
cartoons, that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
slapstick kind of style. But
Yeah.
there's so many, and that's the beauty of it. There's so many different styles and so many different, you know, like I said, roads down this whole creative space that you just kind of
Absolutely.
tend to get an appreciation and draw from all of them, those type of things. So
For
I'm,
sure, for sure.
it's just really encourage the the things that are going to come from you and
Mm.
what you're going to do. What would, I mean, if you had to pick, I guess, one studio that you would love
Oh,
to what
am I ready
studio
to
would
share this? Okay.
hey, maybe they're listening, or somebody
Yeah,
from
yeah.
there is
You know what? Yeah,
listening.
maybe they are.
If you had to
Yeah.
pick, I mean, just I think I would, because I would, like I said, I would love to just, I would love to work at Pixar, just to learn
Cool.
and see how, like I said, the whole process of how they take idea to
Yeah.
story, and they're really big on story and
Mm.
crafting a great story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you're listening, like Nickelodeon, I'd love to work for you. Yeah, yeah. You know what it is? It's, I think, well, it's more than that, but nostalgia for me, man. Like, honestly, when I was growing up, like my teens, Nickelodeon was just like, I don't know, it just came at that time when I was like, I loved everything they were
Yeah,
making, not just the cartoons, but like the shows,
yeah,
like watching stuff like Sister Sister, Keenan and Kel,
yeah.
those kind of things, as well as, Hey Arnold and,
And
Rocko's
I
Modern
think
Life and stuff like
Nickelodeon fits your style so well. Really,
that.
it does. And definitely um, getting plugged into the Facebook group, because I do get a lot of. We do post a lot of like positions that people are.
Mm,
A lot of the studios are looking for as well. Um, to this point, like I said,
mm.
what do you feel like has been the best piece of advice that you've been given? It could be professionally or personally, but something that's really kind of served you well and kind of helped guide you along in this journey.
That's a very good question. Best piece of advice. Um, let's see. I think probably to study anatomy. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that yeah, it's quite a basic one, but yeah, I think because of the time it came, it was like as I was getting sacked from a job, basically a character design job. And after that, I mean, I had been studying it before, but I don't think I was kind of taking it seriously,
yeah,
or yeah, I felt that my skills were fine enough that I didn't have to study it too much. But when I took that advice, that's when doors started opening up for me, and I actually got into it, a little bit. I
yeah,
haven't gone deep into anatomy, but yeah, my anatomy is definitely better
yeah. No,
I can see.
I think
Yeah.
that's a basic. A lot of character designers
Mm,
say, man, you need to make sure you knew, you know, study anatomy, whether it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
anatomy of a person, anatomy of
yeah,
an animal that you're drawing,
yeah,
but just, you know, really dive into anatomy. And it's
yeah.
funny that you said that. There's he has a pretty big following, and he actually was an animator at Disney, but he does a lot of live drawing.
Aaron
You know,
Blaze?
Aaron Blaze, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
really super talented, but he's
Mm-hmm.
really big about, yeah, because he draws a lot of animals, and
Yeah,
he
yeah, he
just
does.
says
Yeah,
you need to know the anatomy. You know, even if
for
it's going
sure.
to be a stylized cartoon
Yeah,
character,
yeah,
you need to know the
yeah.
anatomy of it. So whether it's human
Definitely.
or animal, stylized or realistic, you need to know the anatomy of it to really. So I
Yeah,
feel you, because I'm not great on anatomy myself either.
yeah. But yeah, it had to take. I guess it took me getting sacked from that job for me to like, take it seriously. Because I'm kind of stubborn like that. I didn't want to study anatomy. I was like, oh, because as I said, the stuff I was looking at is all toony, and I'm like, I knew that they knew anatomy, but I'm like, yeah, but they cheat and they do this. So I'm like, do I really need to know? But now I'm like, yeah, I do. I
I
do.
said, yeah, I
Yeah,
say we cheat, but we still need to, like I said,
yeah,
and I guess that's the beauty of being around like perfect, you know, really people that are talented, because they really will break it down that, yeah,
yeah,
this may be stylized Looney Tune where we stretch and do all of that, and
yeah,
but the basics of it is anatomy. The basics of
yeah,
it is
yeah.
simple shapes and things like
Mhm.
that. So it's, you know, like I said, I thought too. You try and, you know, you want to cut the corner, but you really realize that
Yeah, yeah.
you can't cut the
Cutting corners
corner.
doesn't help your artistic journey. Listen to that. It doesn't. It doesn't help it. Doesn't
No,
help
it's
it.
not gonna serve you for sure, and
Yeah.
that's
Sooner or
like,
later. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
catch up to you, and that's the way it is in pretty much all the disciplines. Whether it's animating, you still need to know the basic principles of animation.
Absolutely.
You know, whether it's
Yeah.
modeling, there's basic principles of modeling that you have. So it's something that I think, you know, and that's the beauty of it, which brings me to another point of, um, your thoughts on, was the program that you took, was it
Yeah.
online or in person?
It was in person. You know what? I think if it had been online, I don't know if I would have engaged with it that well.
Really,
Just
really,
because, just because of the type of person I am, and because I was at the very beginning of my journey,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I needed, yeah, I needed it to be in person for sure.
yeah, yeah, and
Because
I
I got
guess
to
you,
ask the teacher a lot of
yeah.
questions, and
Well, I mean,
yeah,
and I guess that, like I said, depends on the person that you need. But there are so many, like I said, courses and
yeah,
schools,
yeah.
whether it be animation or character designs, that, and I guess that's also the beauty of it, of
Mm,
people that are over in other countries or other places
yes.
that don't have access to, okay, say, come over here to the United
Yeah,
States
yeah, yeah.
to learn from Disney or whomever. There's so many courses now, but it's kind of a catch 22. Like I said, if you're that type of person that
Yeah,
learns better being in the environment, as opposed to, okay, I'm sitting in front of my computer, you know, I may see the other students and have access to, you know, message them back and forth and message the
yeah,
teacher. I like having that teacher right there, you know, having to interact with
yeah.
them.
To be fair, I think that's what I needed at that point. I mean, I've since done an online course
Yeah.
exactly for that reason, because it was, the teacher's based in the States. It was a course with Nate Rack.
Mm.
He's a character designer, production designer. He worked on, I think the most recent thing he worked on that's out is the second the
Mm, okay.
Croods 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Well, do you
so
think
yeah,
you're
he's,
better at it now that you
yeah,
did have that experience, that okay,
absolutely.
now I
Yeah.
can understand and be able to pull away what I need from an online program?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And yeah, no, I respect the way they did the course as well because you can yes, the lessons are recorded and you can go back and listen to it as many times as you like as well.
Yeah.
But there was also a live element to it. There was a live Q&A,
Hmm.
um, which yeah, I didn't make all the time because it was like 2 a.m. my time. So, but
Yeah,
I made it
that's kind of
sometimes.
the downside, I
Yeah,
guess, of being over in the States. You have to, adjust for
yeah,
that time difference. But, it does. I think I do say that, like I said, because this is such a great time and the internet has made it such a small world where a person, like I said, that wouldn't normally be able to come over to the United States or any other place can now go online and still learn, what they want to learn and get the
yeah,
information that they want to get.
yeah, yeah. No, it's good. It's online is good. Online is good. I'm not looking online at all. It's great. It's just I needed to start because of where I was. I was like, so far away
Yeah.
from yeah. If you told me that stuff online, I would just be like, "What?" Yeah. I needed to see you drawing it in front of me. That's how much I needed that. So
Well, do you hope for yourself personally at some point in the future to be able to teach somebody else and share your wisdom and knowledge and just thoughts on the industry to bring up the younger
yeah.
generation?
To be fair, I have been already. The little that I do know. There's like a guy who goes to my church actually, who I found out was interested in character design, and yeah, he was following me on Instagram, and he started asking me all these questions. But now, yeah, no, he's really developing. And one of the tips I gave him actually, which I would give anyone, is this industry is so nice and friendly.
Hmm.
People are so open
Yeah.
to sharing advice. So just send if there's someone whose work you admire, just try and send them an Instagram message, direct
Yeah.
message
Yeah.
or
And
whatever
be
social media
sincere
platform
about
you use.
asking them for feedback. I think goes a long way
Yeah,
with them,
yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to them thinking, well, you want something. But if you're earnestly saying, hey,
Sure.
I'm just starting out, I'd love your feedback on,
Mm,
how to get better. And like you said, that's what I found out or have learned about this industry is one is it is such a kind of small tight knit industry where most creators know each other, have worked with each other, have
yeah,
gone to
yeah,
school with each other at some
yeah,
point. That, like I said, if as long as you're a good fun person to work with, it goes a
yeah,
long way
yeah.
in furthering your career.
Definitely. Apart from Disney, the other animation jobs I've got are all because, I met people somewhere and then they recommended me. So for instance, yeah, I'm sure you know who Steven Silver is, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he did a course in Birmingham, like a weekend course, 2016. And while I was there, I met, yeah, there were a few of us, but there was yeah, a lady that I met, and she ended up recommending me for my first ever, proper character design job. So that was cool.
Yeah,
We kept in touch. So yeah,
that's another big jewel there, Ryuchi. Just make relationships,
yeah,
build relationships, and be sincere about your relationships, and you'll be surprised, what fruits kind of grow out of it. If you're really sincere about it and nurture it.
yeah,
For sure, for sure. Um,
man.
move. What you know what kind of work were you? I mean, like you said, you just kind of recently gotten into this, full time.
Yeah.
What were you kind of doing before the? I mean, were you
Oh,
doing? You were
good
kind of
question.
doing
Yeah.
non-art related things. What were you kind of doing it? And where was your mindset ever at the point where like, man, I'm just this. This is just taking me so long, or were you always just it's going to happen sooner or later. It's going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, I was definitely the latter. It's going to happen sooner or later. I think much to my wife's amazement, let me say. Yeah, no, she's been really patient because it's taken a long time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm one of those people. I kind of like have sort of unwavering belief until it doesn't happen. I kind of believe that it will happen. So very tenacious like that. But yeah, I was doing all sorts of jobs while I was actually studying the course in London. I was working. Well, first I was working as an administrator at a charity.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Literally, yeah, just doing very basic things like processing payments,
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of thing. Um, but actually, while I was there, they asked me to draw something for them, and I wasn't really good at that point, but I did it, and it was cool. But that it became difficult to balance that with the course because the
Yeah.
course was really demanding, I should say.
Mm.
'Cause animation takes a long time, right? So
Yeah.
the amount of hours that it required,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you were learning the history and all that kind of stuff. So then I ended up doing like a coffee shop job. That was really hard because what I was doing was I was going there 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then I'd go to uni until about 7 p.m. and then I'd sleep at 9 p.m. and then I'd do the same thing the next morning. So that was difficult. And the job itself was kind of yeah, it was tough because you're on your feet all day.
Yeah. Don't I
Well,
know
for
it?
4 hours. Yeah, 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 on your feet. And then the customers were rude as well. So I was having people saying all sorts of things to me, like because I didn't pack their bag in a certain way, just so and I was
That.
like, I don't need this. I don't need this. Um,
No, trust
so
me, and I'm laughing because, like I said, I can kind of understand because, like I said, I still do part time work for
mm,
Starbucks. I'll say it. I work at
sure,
Starbucks,
sure, sure.
but it
Yeah,
can be, to that point. I mean, how do you balance those negative people in your life,
yeah.
you know, and still trying to keep yourself inspired when there's so many other people? Of course, it helps having a wife and your mother, and and your
Hmm,
family
hmm.
really kind of supporting you. But how do you deal with the friends that may not understand or get what you're doing or trying to do and where you're trying to go? How do you navigate those people?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'm trying to think if there are any friends who have said anything. I think generally my friends have been supportive. It's more people that I meet kind of like, for the first time that will just, I mean, they mean well, but they're kind of like, oh, that's a really hard industry to get into, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
that's not helping. But
yeah,
as I said, I have a kind of like sunny disposition. So generally, I'm okay. Like, yeah, the honestly, the coffee shop stuff annoyed me because, yeah, when I was getting those comments, I guess obviously there's nothing wrong with working at a coffee shop. As you said, you work at one
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
But because I knew that wasn't my ultimate aim, or yeah, or that I was, actually studying a course where I was going to do something else. I don't know, it just hurt at the time. It was just like, oh man, I don't even want to be here,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well,
So that was difficult.
it's tough. Like I said,
Yeah, yeah.
and for me, it's tougher when you have family and kind of a close surrounding of friends. It's not that they are trying to be mean or anything like that, but
Yeah.
they're thinking because in I think
Yes, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
any entrepreneur will say the same thing. It's just, some people just don't get the journey that you're
You're right.
on,
You're right.
and they're thinking from their perspective. And so it's like, oh, well, maybe you should get a 9 to 5 with, benefits
Yes.
and this and that and
Yeah.
that type of thing. And it's like, no, that's not where, I want to end up. I have a different journey. And I think it's tougher when it's family and really kind of that close circle. But you realize that you have to surround yourself around people that are on the same journey as you and going the same path as you, that helps to keep you on that path as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I did have what I did. So after the coffee shop stuff and after I finished the course, it was mostly what I was doing was 9 to 5 jobs, but they were temporary or they were short contracts.
Yeah.
and that was because I wanted to, because the turnaround is so quick in animation in this country anyway. I wanted to be open to if an animation job came, then just
Yeah.
give a week's notice and then I'll be out, that kind of thing. So I did do a lot of 9 to 5 stuff, and then obviously around that I would do my drawing every day on the train or whatever. Um, but yeah, it was just kind of what I had to do, especially with a family, just
Yeah.
supporting them.
Yeah. Well, do you hope that's something that you're, like I said, your daughter's young, but she's picking up
Hmm.
on a lot of things as she grows older? Is that something that you want to impart to your daughter, to follow your dream, whatever that dream may be, regardless of what other people on the outside are saying? Because I think that's the case with most people. They're
Mm,
living other people's idea of what their life should be, as opposed to
sure, sure.
living their true life that makes them happy.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'd hope that given the parents that she has, that she would feel comfortable to do that. And I would definitely, kind of overtly encourage her to, yeah, especially I'd push her towards that direction if I could see that she has a particular proclivity towards something. Yeah,
Has she
for sure.
shown a proclivity towards like drawing? Or, I
Oh,
mean, she's young,
she,
but
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
I said, I know when I was, like I said, I think when I started picking up a pencil, I knew
yeah.
I loved drawing. But
Oh,
has
cool.
she kind of shown a little interest or proclivity into what you're doing, and kind of a little
She,
thing?
well, I don't know at the moment. But she wants to draw every time I'm drawing, but what she actually wants to do is just scribble over whatever I've drawn. So I don't know if she's actually interested in drawing
He said,
herself or just ruining my
he
drawings.
said, I'll color it for you, Daddy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But she's very active. I can see her, honestly, I can see her being a gymnast or a dancer or something like that.
Awesome.
But she's just generally clever. I feel like there's many things. She likes soccer as well. Um, so yeah,
Awesome.
let's see what happens.
Oh man, and like I said, I have another friend who just, and actually he was a guest on the show, and he's a character designer as well, and not too long ago had his first child, and he
Oh,
says,
cool.
you just, I mean, the idea is that, like you said, you're not drawing her, but the things
Mm,
that they're doing and the things that
yeah,
they're
yeah,
picking up just, you know, feeds you all kinds of stuff. So I'm sure it's
absolutely.
such a fun thing to watch and see them grow,
Yeah.
and kind of know that you play a big part in it for sure.
Mm. Yeah, no, she's a special girl. She's interesting. She's cool.
Well, for everybody that's just tuning in or just jumping on, like I said, we've been having an awesome conversation with my
Mm.
friend and artist, illustrator, character designer, my brother from another mother across the pond in the UK, Mr. Selom Sunu. Um, Again, like I said, I know that the time difference is late over there, so I do want to be
Yeah, no,
respectful.
no worries.
This I want to pose this kind of last question to you here. If if you could stand in front of your younger self,
Hmm.
what would you tell your younger self? You know.
Oh, that's a difficult question. Probably something like I'm always saying this to myself now, actually, just be yourself.
Be
Be
yourself.
yourself. I think, to be honest, I think that's the most sort of important thing because, as you said, we kind of pretend, we we kind of accept and take on sort of what other people want for our lives at times, um, and maybe deny our own dreams and
Yeah.
pursuits. And so I think, yeah, just honestly tune into yourself and be yourself is what I would say. Um, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I gotta give a bomb on that one. Be yourself. No, be true
Yeah.
to thine own self. Be true.
Mm.
I think is I don't know, Shakespeare. I think said it. To
Yeah,
thine
yeah.
own self, be true, and I think that's the case. Um, most people they're not living their life, they're living what other people,
Mm.
and they've let the impressions of how other people think, and that's the kind of the life we're living. So yeah, to thine own self be true, really be true to
Mm.
yourself. um so it's been, like I said, such an honor and privilege having you on there, having you on the show, and one, just connecting with you and getting to be friends with you. And I'm, like I said, can't wait, one, to have you on, two, to maybe at some point in the future, whether you come over here or I go visit over there, we get a chance to meet in person.
Yeah, man, that'd be
But
great.
just had uh, such a fun time on the show, and I want to thank you again for coming on and really sharing your gifts and your knowledge. And just super excited to see all the great work that comes, from you in the future.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much, Don, for having me on. Honestly, I could have gone on for another couple of hours. That's been great chatting to you.
Well, everybody that know that it's not. Well, let's see, what time is it here? It is 4:13 here, so it's about what, 10, get
10:13.
close, yeah,
Yeah.
10:13 there in the evening. So, oh, sorry about that. In the evening, 10:30 in the evening over there, so it is kind of late. And like I said, super super excited to have you back on the show, for
Sure.
sure. Um, Everybody, make sure that I'm gonna throw up Salam's information so that you can connect with him and check out more of his work, for sure. Go to his
Thank you.
website, check out his website, salamsanu.co.uk. He's also on Instagram, Salam Sanu86. Also on Twitter, Mr. Sanu. You can connect with him there. Uh, he's active on LinkedIn. That's how we met and
Yeah, yeah,
connected. So
yeah, yeah.
definitely you can connect with him there. For sure, all this information is going to be on the show notes on the YouTube page. So make sure that you jump on over there, find out all that information. Definitely have it up there for sure. But make sure that you connect with him. Check out more of his work. He is open for some opportunities for sure. I'm sure he won't turn down any opportunities that may come his way. Nickelodeon, if anybody is
Nickelodeon,
watching.
Nickelodeon.
If anybody is watching from Nickelodeon or happens to watch from Nickelodeon, definitely make sure that you reach
Yeah,
out and connect with him for sure. Um, Salama, if you could hang out for just 1 second
sure,
uh,
sure.
past in the green room while I close out the show, I would appreciate it. But again, I can't thank you enough for being on the show, Salam.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. That's been great.
All right.
Awesome.
Everybody, please help me thank my guest and friend, Mr. Salam, and look forward to having you back on the show there. All right, guys, it's been another great episode. I can always say it's been always enjoyed these shows so much. And like I said, I appreciate everybody that's hung out with us. Stayed the course. I appreciate everybody that's gonna check out the replay of it. Make sure that you know you can jump on over to my YouTube channel. youtube.com/Don Terrell to check out this episode and all the other great episodes that I've had. Make sure that you also connect with me on, again, all my other channels there. I'd love to hear from you and get connected with you and engage with you. So please take the opportunity to jump on over and connect there. Also, again, like I said, the 1 year anniversary show is coming up. We're going to have a very special edition on November the 7th, which is a Sunday. So we'll be having an episode Saturday and the anniversary episode Sunday. So it's going to be a jam-packed weekend for sure. So definitely want you to be a part of that for sure. Make sure that you tune in next week because it's going to be another great episode. So looking forward to having my guest and another friend on, Mr. Wahid Reza, writer, director, VFX and animation producer with Digital Domain. So and super funny, man. We connected some months ago, and he's just hilarious, I have to say. So looking forward to sitting down talking with him because it's going to be another great episode for sure. Again, make sure that you join the Facebook community because there, like I said, we share a lot of industry news, a lot of great engagement, and it's growing. So facebook.com/group/The Color of Motion. Again, all these links are going to be up on the show page for sure. With that, like I said, it's been fun. And we are coming to the end of another great episode. Like I said, I've had such a blast doing this. And can't thank you enough for tuning in for sure. So I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel for sure. So with that, have a great week and a productive one. See you.